Welcome back to the ASUS Stars Invite Tournament here in Helsinki's Expo Center. My name is Thomas and I'm here hosting this event for tonight. And we're ready. Yesterday we concluded the main tournament and Hydra took the first place. Close second was selected and the third place went to Elfi from Team ASUS. But tonight we're going to play mostly just show matches between players that are voted in the community page at teamliquid.net. And the first game we are going to have is between Finland and Sweden, a grudge match for Finnish people and for Swedish people. And it's going to be between Sjow and Elfi. And we could probably just invite the players here on the stage. So, Sjow, if you could please join me here on the stage. Yeah. Yeah, hey Sverige, how are you doing?
Oh, pretty good.
So how are you feeling about this show match against Elfi?
I think it's a lot of stakes for this, not only money-wise, but I want to redeem myself from losing to Hydra, and also it's Sweden against Finland, so I want to win for Sweden, of course. And then, if I win 2-0, I will get Elfi's cap, which is his lucky cap, and he had it for 4 years.
Oh, wow, that's a pretty big stakes. In addition to this hat, it's actually a $1,000 show match, and it is a best of 3. So, without further ado, let's call Elfi to the stage. Elfi! It's early in the morning here in Helsinki. How are you feeling?
Good, good. I got a lot of sleep yesterday, so I'm fine.
So, are you afraid to losing your hat to this fine young man over here?
Nah, I'm not afraid. Finland won last time in ice hockey, so I will beat also.
That's great to hear. So if you could shake hands and get on your places, I'll leave it to you guys over there.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the third and final day of the ASUS Republic of Gamers Tournament. It's brought to you by ASUS and NVIDIA right here from the Digi Expo in Helsinki, Finland. My name is TotalBiscuit.
And I am Dignitas Apollo.
Dignitas Apollo.
I thought I'd say that rather than D Apollo today, because we do have Dignitas Show to my right.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Though actually, the funny thing is, it's a $1,000 show match, but I think they're more interested in winning Elfi's hat and Elfi redeeming his hat.
Yeah, you see, when I heard that first, I thought I'm going to win Elfi's cat. And it's like, what?
Well,
that doesn't seem humane.
Look, he loves it.
I see he's very worried by that. Look at that.
He's scared. I've got to go in a sauna with this guy later.
You're dead, son. You're dead.
Elfi's been trying to drag me into the sauna all last night, and I finally gave in and said, all right, tomorrow night.
I'm not going to judge, man. I'm
a little bit scared, though, because Elfi's a bit of a beer monster when it comes to going into the sauna. It's a little bit scary.
Most Finns seem to be beer monsters when it comes to going into the sauna. It's pretty cool.
In England, it's like, we recommend you take a bottle of water with you, at least 2 liters of water before going into the sauna.
Yeah,
in Finland, it's like, we recommend you take 5 liters of beer.
Yeah, it's pretty solid medical advice as far as I'm concerned. If you get a little bit uncomfortable in our sauna in England, then please write a strongly worded letter to the following destination.
Do you know what's the funniest thing in the sauna is there's a sign above it saying hotel will not take any responsibility
for you dying
in the sauna.
That's fair enough.
I'm like, this is a safe place when Elfi's in the sauna drinking.
It's a bit scary, isn't it?
It is. But Finland versus Sweden, the actual game.
Always good.
Sjow versus Elfi here. They have played, a couple of times before, mostly online, and it was really 50-50. I think it was like 4 wins for each. But most recently, the result that most of you will remember is an ESWC in the round of 16. Sjow 2-0, knocking Elfi out of ESWC. So a bit of a rematch, and of course the Swedes versus the Finns.
Yeah, both of these guys known for a very, I wouldn't say slow, but certainly a more methodical style of play. Very execution-based. Sjow perhaps known for being a bit more creative. Certainly what we've seen over this tournament and in recent results. He's got a lot of interesting aces up his sleeve. Elfi tends to play the same build, although he has a lot of variations on that build, and his strength lies in the execution of it, in that he very rarely makes mistakes when it comes to executing that attack.
Yeah, and his control as well is out of this world. It's so good, actually. And will Sjow be able to handle that? I mean, both of these players are pretty slow in itself. They do have relatively low APM.
They're just laid back. They're just chilling.
The joke I was saying last night at dinner is that I said, Sjow, if you want to beat Elfi, you probably have to do what Select did, defend, and drop at the same time. But you're too slow to do that, so you kind of had to choose one. You have to defend or drop. So we'll have to see which one of you does decide to take.
It's only acceptable for you to say that because you're his teammate. If anyone else said that, they're getting a lot of trouble. Simple
I
as
can
that.
get away with it. Coach Apollo, so
Coach Apollo, indeed.
Kid
yes.
Apollo, apparently.
Well, let's see if your coaching actually cuts the mustard here, because the countdown has begun. We're about to find out as to whether or not Sjow has benefited from your wonderful words of wisdom.
Zelnoga Caverns is the first map, by the way. Just looking at the vetoes, we have Taldrum Alta and Antigua Shipyard out by Sjow, Metalopolis and Terminus SC out by Elfi. That leaves us with 3. Zelnoga Caverns number 1, Shakuris Plateau number 2, and then the final destination, if required, will be the Shatter Temple.
Yep, all of these show matches today are best of 3 format. There will be 5 in total. This one was chosen by the organizers for a Finland versus Sweden grudge match, and then there are 4 matches chosen by the community over on the Republic of Gamers portal on teamliquid.net. Which I think, honestly, if they were able to do it, would be Idra versus Idra, cast by Idra, host by Idra.
Yeah, that would be entertaining.
I would.
This guy's bad. Oh, wait, it's me.
He'd do it anyway. I know for a fact he would. You know how critical he is of his own play. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I bring you Dignitas Sjow. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Terran to the southwest of this particular map. Can we get any Finns whatsoever to applaud for the Swede? No. There you go.
There's a couple of traitors in the crowd.
A polite golf clap is what's going on over there. Versus his opponent that might get a bit of a better reception here in Helsinki. He is from Team ASUS, playing Protoss in the blue trunks up to the northeast of the Zelnoga Caverns. Can we hear it for Elfi? Obvious bias showing right here.
Both of these players do come from a Warcraft 3 background, and Elfi was really regarded as one of the best Warcraft 3 players in Finland, qualified for WCG Grand Finals way back in 2008. And Sjow did play Warcraft 3 too, but was more known for his 2v2 skills rather than his 1v1, but both have translated well into Starcraft 2, have had relatively good success. And looking at the prize money they've both earned over their career in Starcraft 2, Elfi has earned a respectable 6,000 euros, but compared to Sjow with IEM Kiev and IESF, he's actually up at 33,000 euros over the last year. It's pretty impressive.
He's been doing fairly well, honestly, when it comes to that, and perhaps not a lot of people really realize just how many events Sjow has either won or placed highly in. He is very consistent when it comes to placing highly in tournaments.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, he finished so well in MLG as well. He won the Gathering as well, IEM Kiev champion, and that was a fantastic event where he managed to beat White Rod down in the final, showing us that he can play at an awesomely top level. And looking over here for Elfi, actually, we do see a second gas going down before a Zealot here. And we may be in for a bit of a surprise here, because that's not usually how he likes to play.
No, it isn't. And perhaps he's discovered yet a new variant of the 4-gate strategy, which we haven't seen before. But it's not really a joke per se. He does execute that strategy over and over again, and it works. And as I was saying to him before the tournament and during it, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. A gas steal there by Elfi as well, trying to force Sjow down one particular path.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of scared of the 1-1-1 build, factory barracks and starport, as Sjow is known for doing it, especially on this map. So stealing the gas really hinders that, and already we can see Sjow expanding because of that. So Elfi just making sure that he doesn't really have to face that. Meanwhile, he's gone 1 gate into robotics facility here, so we could be seeing aggression coming straight out from Elfi here. I really don't think that he'd be wanting to go for a super fast Colossus. I think that what we're probably going to be seeing here is an observer with blink play, or potentially just going directly for 3-gate and robotics facility aggression straight away.
Yeah, I would imagine so at this point. The time for 4-gating has passed. It is not going to happen, but we'll see how it plays out. Elfi is known for 1 and 2 base builds. We don't really see him going past that, and I suppose that kind of makes sense on this map. It can be a pain to take your 3rd base. Terran loves it if they can get hold of the gold, of course, but I would expect to see 1 or 2 base execution play here from Elfi.
And he is chrono boosting back into the Nexus Snow, so he is building up his probe count, ready to expand. So he does want to expand shortly. He has added on a 2nd gate as well, so he's gone 1 gate robo, fast observer, so he can actually find out what is going on behind closed doors. and then he also has this second gate down. He's going to be building the Nexus, but at the same time, he has thrown down this pylon here, and he's going to be able to use this to contain his opponent, to make sure that Sjow doesn't leave his base anytime soon, so that he can actually get his own Nexus up and running, make sure he's got a decent amount of probes and a decent mid-game.
Yeah, if you look at his gas count right now, and you look at the way that Show's forces are set up, it would not surprise me to see Elfi warp in a lot of sentries and continue to force field that ramp. Second sentry coming in now. And unfortunately, he's let a few through, and that's few too many, unfortunately. A little bit slow off the draw there, loses all the sentries, and Show's going to be able to now safely expand. A good idea, but unfortunately not well executed.
Yeah, just was kind of concentrating on his natural and onto his main base a little bit too much there, and missed that crucial force field, which would have kept Sjow inside his base. And it, like you said, a great idea, and would have worked really well, especially because Sjow wants to expand. He's got a decent SCV count, and having him stuck on one base, he would have oversaturated that main for far too long. He has no factory, no intention to be up at a starport anytime soon, so he would have had to wait a long time before actually getting outside his base. And now Elfi's in a bit of trouble because the ground army of Sjow is pretty good. He's got Stim almost finishing now, only about 30 seconds away, and we're left with a robotics facility and 2 gateways. And an Immortal at this stage is really good, but if the force fields slip up again, Sjow will be able to target it down immediately with the amount of army and the amount of units he has.
Yeah, it's definitely concerning. We also saw Elfi get a supply block for a while because simply he hadn't built an extra pylon, and of course he wasn't expecting that pylon to die so quickly. So the failure of the execution of that strategy has caused him a lot of problems, and Sjow may decide to get aggressive or just decide to expand as quickly as he can, try and get a hold of the gold, which will put him in a wonderful position as a Terran player.
And I think Elfi's going to be going up for a robotics bay very, very shortly. He's already taken the 3rd gas on the natural. He should be taking the 4th very, very, very soon. But at the moment, he has to build Immortals. Because of that, losing that little early engagement hurt him a little bit. And without Immortals, he'd be stuck on pure gateway. And Show's army, which he's moving up the map, would demolish that immediately. He does have a good sentry count. I'm a little bit scared that he doesn't have any zealots. But with good force fields, it won't matter that much. He has to land good force fields.
Yep. Timing push right here with the completion of Combat Shield as opposed to anything else, but he doesn't want to go for it. I don't really blame him. That's a lot of sentries in the mix there, and those 2 Immortals are extremely scary. Plus, of course, home ground advantage. Sjow doesn't know how many gateways are currently available, so in fact, he hasn't seen anything, which shouldn't really surprise you with Sjow.
Yeah, to be honest, not at all. But Elfi is actually deciding to add on 3 more gateways, and instead of adding the robotics bay down, warps in a couple more sentries, and now we have this extraordinarily strong force coming from him. And Sjow could be in a little bit of trouble. He's spent money on a new expansion. He's also getting Starport Tech +1. He's upgrading and moving and expanding in many different areas. And his army's not that strong. And especially the sentry count is going to be key here. There's enough Guardian Shield. There's enough for decent force fields. And 3 Immortals versus this rather, well, it's not too heavy, but decently sized Marauder count. We'll have to see how this will go down. The Marine size, though, is looking kind of healthy here for Sjow against this army.
Yeah, and the longer Elfi waits, the closer to +1 ground weapon you get if you happen to be Terran. If Elfi were to strike now before the +1, that would be absolutely fantastic for him, but it will rely on force fields. It's not a high DPS force, a lot of sentries in there. The force fields so far have been pretty good. Question is, can he take down that command center? If he's able to target fire that down, that would be huge. Unfortunately, Sjow finds a few ways through. That single Zealot getting battered there and driven away.
Yeah, I mean, the engagement was really bad there for Elfi. It was a good idea. He could have potentially sniped the command center, but he was filtered in. Like, there was 4 units across and like 10 backwards. And Sjow was in a perfect line, 2 across, and he was looking really good there. And basically, Elfi has to prevent this from happening or getting down.
There go the force fields. That should prevent that from happening, at least for the moment. Is he got enough force fields to continue? I think he does, honestly. He does have a large sentry count. The problem is, where does the damage come from? It's certainly not going to come from the sentries. The Immortals are going to do great damage to the Marauders, not so great to those Marines. SCV's just panicking around there by the looks of it. Not the number of force fields that are going down, but eventually the energy runs out, and stimming forward right now, Sjow trying to drive his way into this force of Elfi, targeting fire down the Immortals. 1 goes down a second. Zealots come to try and save the day. I don't think Elfi's got a big enough force, and evidently he does not, as his attack collapses, and Sjow is able to secure that third.
Yeah, Sjow actually had to sacrifice a lot of SCVs to grab that third, though. Without those SCVs buffering at the front, taking the immortal damage away from the Marauders, he lost actually in that engagement 19 SCVs to actually hold that gold base. That was a sacrifice Sjow was willing to make to get that gold base up, because mules on the gold base will start to give him back the money he lost in those SCVs, especially with Elfi being on 2 bases. Elfi now is trying to tech over to Colossus, and I'm looking at Show's vision. He still has no idea what is going on, though he will predict Colossus to be the follow-up from this robotics facility heavy play.
Yeah, you can hardly blame him for thinking that. It's a standard transition. It's a very, very sensible one as well. A Ghost is coming into play for Sjow right here, which is an interesting decision considering...
There's a bit of a drop, but not really going to do anything. Elfi was about to target it down, but more importantly is this little kind of army. We're having force field off, but the Colossus is out, and still no Vikings in the mix. Thermal Lance is about to finish as well, TotalBiscuit, and Elfi could potentially warp in another huge, another wave of 6 units from these 6 gateways and start to put pressure back onto this gold base, and without any Vikings whatsoever, and going down Ghost Tech, actually here with the Mobius reactor finishing, he will be able to EMP, but he has nothing really to deal with the Colossus right now.
No, he doesn't. That's why the Ghost Tech, in my opinion, was an interesting decision, considering that he must have been suspecting that Colossi were on their way. Ghost's not exactly known for countering Colossi. The EMP will certainly help, but Elfi's force is quite small, and it's really tech heavy, so I don't know how effective this is really going to be. The sentries could lose all of their energy there, which would allow a large surge, a Marauder heavy stim forward to eliminate those Colossi, but once again, still no real sign from Sjow of being otherwise prepared for that. If Elfi goes in now before the Vikings come out, this will look good. There's 2 on the field for Sjow, not enough. Trying to bring down that planetary fortress there, just sniping it off out of range. Unfortunately, Colossus don't do a lot of damage to buildings, so that's going to take a while. And there goes the shields down on the first one. A Marauder stims through to get a good hit on that Colossus, and there the mass repair goes off. And Show's actually been supply blocked now for the past 20 or so seconds.
Yeah, he's feeling the pressure, realizing that Elfi is, in a sense, all in, because he's still on 2 base versus 3. He has to win right now, but the upgrades are out of control now. 1-1 for Sjow, 0-0 for Elfi, and the Viking count is now at 4, and more will be in production as well.
Yeah, and Elfi trying to snipe off the Vikings and losing a Stalker for his trouble there, caught out of position by that extremely large Marauder force. And look at 26 Marauders and 18 Marines, 3 Ghosts, which is honestly a really good composition against what he's facing, which is very Stalker heavy with 2 Colossus, as opposed to having a lot of Marines, which will be slaughtered very easily by those Colossi. Elfi's going to try and secure his third now so that he can continue to catch up with Sjow. And he has, for at least the last 5 or so minutes, been behind in his economy. Sjow catching up to the work account and, of course, muling that gold base.
Yeah, he is, and Elfi can't really engage. If he tries to, the planetary fortress is there to do a lot of damage as well, and Sjow smartly staying behind it. Sjow has added on 3 more barracks with 3 more tech labs as well. Oh, very, very Marauder heavy against this army.
Yeah, force field's going down to try and prevent that from happening. However, Marauder range is very, very nice indeed. Good little bit of micro there from the Colossi, trying to keep them alive. He needs to stop putting down some pain on those infantry units in the back before they break through. Otherwise, horrible things will happen, kind of like that.
Oh, that's not looking good for Elfi. He's about to lose everything he has.
Oh, that is absolutely brutal. EMP's going off there on the Stalkers that melt instantly. Another EMP on the Zealots. And before they can even make contact with Show's forces there. GG. Ladies and gentlemen, there you go.
Elfi,
nicely engaged by Sjow.
Yeah, really good solid hold by Sjow. And I really do like his decision to be like, all right, I need this goal base. I can afford to lose 16 more SCVs to hold this base. If I don't pull SCVs to help with it, I'm going to lose my army, I'm going to lose a goal base, I could then go ahead and lose the game. So smart decision making there from Sjow to actually bring SCVs there, even though he was willing to lose them in kind of exchange for that goal base, which ended up giving him the resources you can see on the tabs here that he did manage to go into the later stages of that game with upgrade advantage, hold in the middle, and especially with a planetary fortress, it was extremely hard for Elfi to actually get a good engagement there.
Yeah, it was. And Sjow has really great decision making. Everybody knows that. That's one of his strengths. And it was a good decision to sacrifice those SCVs. When you think about it, it doesn't take so much to sacrifice gold base. There were less mineral patches. You earn more per SCV. And then you could just start focusing all of your mules on the gold mineral patch. It rapidly makes up for any real worker loss. And Elfi wasn't able to continue any kind of harassment. If he kept, say, getting into the main, maybe with Warp Prism, trying to harass that mineral line, then yes, he could have held the economy of Sjow back. But once he secured the gold, it really was a losing battle for Elfi. And that last engagement was honestly absolutely brutal. We had him using the Colossi to try and take down the Planetary Fortress, which doesn't do a lot of damage, as you're well aware, and not focusing fire on the large group of infantry trapped behind the force fields. So once again, that engagement didn't go so well for him, and it was a nice patient play there by Sjow.
Yeah, really good. And you have to keep in consideration as well, Zelnoga Caverns was the map Sjow had chosen to play on first here. Even though there were the 3 maps remaining, the second map, Shakur's Plateau, is the map that Elfi wanted to play on. So.
All right, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, folks, and when we get back, we've got Game 2 of this best-of-3 series, Showmatch between Elfi and Sjow.